Welcome to Sage Audio. Today let's look at how to master a beat and vocals. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Mid-side EQ on the beat. In today's session we have a beat and a vocal which have already been mixed, so this will be similar to a stem mastering session, just with only 2 stems. So let's start with the beat and move on to the vocal later before adding collective processing to the stereo output. With mid-side EQ, I'll introduce a high-pass filter on the side image to make the beat's low frequencies more mono. Then, I'll boost 300 Hz on the side to fill out the sound. Lastly, on the side image, I'll boost a little of roughly 2 kHz and expand the beat's highest frequencies. Now on the mid image, I dipped a little of 250 Hz to reduce its masking effect on the vocal and did the same around 2.5 kHz, again to help the vocal cut through. So let's take a listen to this EQ being enabled, and keep in mind that its effect is going to be a little subtle since we have a lot more processing to add.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They can only see me on the holidays. All the years my dad been locked up, now he finally free. Breaking generational curses, yeah, that started with me.
Mid-side compression on the beat. With a mid-side compressor, I can delink the channel's detection and set their thresholds individually. In short, this means I can cause more compression to my mid image than the side. So I'll select Auto Makeup Gain, which is going to amplify my mids, like the kick and the bass. Then, whenever compression on the mid image occurs and the side stays about the same level, we'll get dynamic stereo expansion. So let's take a listen to how this thickens the mid image, but then subtly expands, giving the beat some life.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They can only see me on the holidays. All the years my dad been locked up, now he finally free. Breaking generational curses, yeah, that started with me.
If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us bring you more videos. Subtle vocal ducking on the beat. I want my vocal to sit on top of the beat a little more, so I'll use this Shaper Box plugin by Cable Guys and select the volume module. Now on the main page, I'll sidechain the vocal and use the editor window to reduce the amplitude of the beat. I'll do this only by a little less than a dB and then isolate that attenuation to the mids and highs. I'll select audio and the external sidechain icon to ensure that the vocal is what's triggering the attenuation. Now in the trigger window, I'll set the algorithm to complex, increase the detail, and then I'll smooth out the attenuation. Now notice when we play the 2 signals, the attenuation only lasts when the vocal is present. Now this subtle ducking will set the vocal on top of the beat, but without any of the coloration or the artifacts that would occur from a sidechained compressor. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They can only see me on the holidays. All the years my dad been locked up, now he finally free. Breaking generational curses, yeah, that started with me.
Parallel aggressor for transients. This parallel aggressor works incredibly well at making a beat impressive. I'll use the spank dial to introduce compression and some transient expansion, and then select the preserve lows icon to keep them more dynamic. Now on the heat side, I'll introduce some saturation and emphasize higher frequencies. Then, I'll blend the 3 signals until I find a good level for each. So let's take a listen to how this plugin really polishes the beat, making it enjoyably loud and punchy.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They can only see me on the holiday.
Side image, expansion send. Last up for the beat, let's use a send to create a bus or an aux track, on which we can use the plugin MSED to isolate the side image. After this, I'll insert a transient expander, which I'll set to 100%, and isolate the expansion to the highs. Afterwards, I'll blend the effect in with the fader. In short, this expands and creates transients on the side image, causing a uniquely wide and aggressive sound. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They go. My dad been locked up, now he finally free. Breaking generational curses, yeah, that started with me.
Inflating the vocal. Let's look at the vocal, starting with this inflator plugin. Now I'll set this to 100% and compensate for the gain changes by lowering the input. This plugin saturates the vocal and it brings forward quieter details, causing it to sound full. The zero curve value sounds like a tube FET hybrid. Now I chose this plugin since it improves the details without altering the timbre of the signal too much. Let's take a listen to how this brings the vocal forward.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They can only see me on the holidays. All the years my dad been locked up, now he finally free. Breaking generational curses, yeah, that started with me.
Resonance and sibilance reduction. Next, for the vocal, I want to reduce excessive resonances and sibilance. To do this, I'll use a resonance reducer and affect almost the full frequency spectrum before lowering the mix. To reduce phase cancellation and avoid any aliasing distortion, I used higher settings and some oversampling. Then, I used this de-esser to reduce sibilance. Now, the de-esser might not always be needed, but the sibilance was a little aggressive in this case. So let's take a listen to how the vocal becomes more balanced.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They can only see me on the holidays. All the years my dad been locked up, now he finally free. Breaking generational curses, yeah, that started with me.
If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. Mid-side maximization on output. So now the beat and the vocal are done, so let's work on their collective signals by processing the output. With this maximizer, I'll bring up quieter details a moderate amount with the amount and the parallel dials, and then I'll select the wide option. Similar to Chapter 2, this is going to dynamically widen the signal. Now if you don't have this processor, that's totally fine. Any subtle maximizer is going to help increase the loudness without heavily altering the peaks. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They can only see me on the holidays. All the years my dad been locked up, now he finally free. Breaking generational curses, yeah, that started with me.
Air EQ on output. I really like this free plugin whenever I need to add some highs to a signal. I'll just increase the mid-air and the high-air dials subtly, and then reduce the trim to compensate. Now looking more into this plugin with Plugin Doctor, it looks like it equalizes high frequencies and it excites, meaning it adds harmonics to the highs as well. So let's take a listen to how this processor brightens up the overall sound.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They can only see me on the holidays. All the years my dad been locked up, now he finally free. Breaking generational curses, yeah, that started with me.
Clipping and limiting settings. Last up, let's get the signal to a commercially loud level while still retaining transient detail. I'll start with this clipper and use hard clip settings to add some white noise to the highs whenever the threshold is crossed. Now using the detail preservation function, I'll retain some of the original sound as well. Next up, I'll insert a more traditional limiter. Now this one has a dynamic function which expands the transients, making it great for retaining the life of the signal. Now notice that I turned off true peak detection and instead used a little look ahead and some oversampling. Additionally, I slightly delinked the left and the right channels detection, which is a personal preference, but I find that it makes the master more interesting by attenuating the left and the right channels separately. Lastly, on the right, we'll notice the signal's loudness is about -9 LUFS, even though we didn't need to smash the transients or the peaks. Now this is why I chose to use maximization earlier, and it shows how stem mastering definitely has some benefits. So let's take a listen to the final result.
Yeah, we outside today. If you really looking for me, I'm miles away. I be with my peoples in the hideaway. They can only see me on the holidays. All the years my dad been locked up, now he finally free. Breaking generational curses, yeah, that started with me.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.